Hey guys, this is 97 Lego Maniac with another custom minifigure showcase video, and today we're going to take a look at 12. There's a whole lot of minifigures from the Avengers, which was the last movie in Marvel Phase 1 and one of my favorite superhero movies. It definitely deserves somewhere in my top 10 list. And yeah, I love this movie. This movie started a lot of stuff for the MCU when you bring in new characters and you set up a lot of different universes, and plus it's setting up for Infinity War, which is great. It's the first film that's basically confirmed that. So yeah, I love this movie, and I realized that as my painting skills improved over time, I noticed that I have to go back and fix all my old ones, and that's exactly what I did. If you guys want to see my version 1 showcase, I'll provide a link down below, and yeah, if you compare that video to this, you will definitely be surprised. And just looking back, I look at my version 1 in disgust. Yeah, and I like this one better. So yeah, so I have Captain America, the Mark 7 Iron Man suit, Thor, Hulk, Black Widow, Hawkeye, Bruce Banner, Loki, the Shatori, two Shatori foot soldiers, one Commander, Agent Coulson, Nick Fury. All those minifigures, either they're completely custom, hand painted by me, or I just grabbed some parts of Legos and I took the ones I thought was accurate and applied in my own. So yeah, let's just continue with this video. Here we have the first minifigure here, that's Captain America in this new suit that he wore in Avengers. Yeah, I don't really like this suit as much because I think the World War II suit was perfect for him, and it's a good thing they dropped this suit, so that's good. And I remember someone told me that the blue on his chest is a little bit too light. Well, actually, that blue is actually a normal blue color. It's just people think it's a light blue just because it's on top of a dark blue color. No, this is actually just blue. Light blue would be a whole lot lighter. It's just like the background you see here. That's light blue, and so it may look a little bit white to you, but that's because of the brightness. Anyway, so one of the decisions I had to make was using the flash cowl in some way, because I remember I have another flash from Gorilla Grodd set, and I was thinking just using Lego's head. So that's exactly what but I decided to scrap that idea, and so I painted it, and you can see it was completely red, and I got to make sure I have to talk under 2 minutes on each of these minifigures. So the head is completely painted by me, and I use light blue because I use regular blue because, to be fair, his suit was mostly just normal blue. I don't know why Lego chose dark blue. So that's what I did. I painted this part, and I painted the arms, and I painted some details on the back, and I painted the legs, and it does, and it is articulate on all sides, and then his shield was also painted too. I gave him a little battle damage effect. So yeah, that's it on Captain America, the first Avenger himself. The Mark 7 Iron Man, I didn't really do a whole lot really comparing to the first Avengers showcase. But all I basically did was just to make sure the lines and the paint are just a little more clear and it doesn't look super messy. So it's basically that. Nothing else has changed. And the only thing I did, I used gloss paint for most of the outlines, because I used normal ones before, and I used the Iron Man 3 Tony Stark kit because I think it's perfect for him, because he's mostly joking around in battle, and this face represents him when he was going through that wormhole. And that really did give him a panic attack. And then the helmet, and I also gave a new HUD. This is a really simple HUD design. It's kind of underwhelming compared to the other ones I've made, especially for Heartbreaker, the Mark 43, and the Mark 45. But it still gets the job done, and it's not that bad. And so yeah, there's really nothing else about him. And he does come with repulsors, and there's nothing really else I have to mention about him. He's basically no different at all. Thor's kind of the same as around 4. He's kind of on the same boat as Tony Stark. because there's really nothing else that's changed. I just gave him a little more extra detail on his legs, and I try to make the silver paint a little bit clear. I painted a little bit details on the boots, and I painted a little more details on the legs here. Yeah. There was really nothing much I could really do with this dwarf figure. I don't want to completely change the paint job because that's just going to take a lot of scratching and a lot of work, so I didn't want to do that. His arms were no different at all because I like the way the arms look. The only thing major I did was his hammer, and it's the same technique I did with the Avengers one, but except this is my second time attempting it. So yeah, so that one, the little metal part here, it's a little bit bigger than the one in the Avengers Age of Ultron showcase, but I'll show you guys that later. And yeah, that's basically it. And please don't say that the hammer looks kind of big, because Lego never gets proportions right. All right, so that so someone mentioned that, but it's wrong. Thor's hammer, it's basically the same size as the normal one. It's like this big, but except the only difference is there's a little string attached to it. It's basically the same size. All right, now that there's the face, it's the same thing. It's in a kind of a blondish, dirty blonde color. Unlike the Avengers showcase when it's a little bit the color's toned down a little bit. And he does have a standard cape because I don't like the new capes. Then another minifigure I have is Bruce Banner, and I didn't really do much of him compared to the last showcase video. All I basically did was repaint the back because some of the paint was about to scratch off. I gave him a new hairpiece, which is a lot more accurate for Mark Ruffalo's the Anakin Skywalker hairpiece. I painted a new face for him because the old face I used, it was a Dastan head, the one I used for Winter Soldier and 2 versions of Daredevil. And I used another one, but what I did, I scratched the beard off, but I guess I accidentally scratched a little bit too much. It looks demented and weird, so I just end up deciding painting a new face for him, and you can tell it's all painted because there's nothing here. So yep, it's a blank light flesh head, and for the legs, what I did was just paint the shoes, and that was basically it. And then he does come with an accessory, which is Loki's scepter, but in a smaller version, because I just think it just helps for him, because he needs to hold something at least. So that's really it for him. We have the Green Goliath himself, that's Hulk, and I just accidentally knocked my other figures on. It doesn't matter. What I did, I really love what the Lego did with their Avengers Age of Ultron sets with the Hulk. So what I did, I decided to use the second Hulk I have. Oh yeah, if you notice, I do have a band-aid on my finger. I was cleaning up glass, and I gave myself a big cut. So yeah, I'm not going to show you the cut anyway, because that's not the point of the videos. So what I did, I basically I just gave him a lot of white, like black wash, and gave him a lot of different types of brown paint and green paint, and I painted some veins on his arm, you can see here, and I gave him Hulk nipples. And yeah, I can tell a lot of people are not too satisfied with that, because it's just, why Hulk nipples? Well, would you want me to paint bat nipples, guys? Do you want me to do that? Because just having Hulk without nipples it's weird, because it doesn't seem a little more human. It makes him accurate. That's why I decided to go with that, and it just looks good. If that's the main thing that's distracting from you guys, besides the other paint job, there is something wrong with you. And his paint and his pants. What I like what Lego did, and I think it's perfect for this version of Hulk, is that there are no how am I supposed to call it? There's no sculpting marks, I guess, for his pants, unlike what we got in the first Hulk, in the original Avengers set. So that makes it easier for me to paint different types of wear and tear on the pants here, so that way it doesn't look weird and stuff. So yeah, I painted new pants. That's basically what I do with the Avengers Hulk. That's basically it. Now we have one of the hottest super heroine alive, and that's Scarlett Johansson as Black Widow. And before you guys tell me that some people won't like my choice of the face. This is an Age of Ultron Black Widow face. It's basically the same as the first one, except it doesn't have the wrinkles, which I like, because it makes her look like an old woman. And a lot of people are wondering, oh, why'd you choose his face? Why can't you paint another one? First of all, I do not have any more like flesh head, and second of all, when people say this does not look like Scarlett Johansson, there's something wrong with you, or you're probably blind, because this does look like Scarlett Johansson. If you don't believe me, look it up yourself. Go to Google Images, type in Scarlett Johansson, and you'll see this one sexy picture of her that she's like smirking and all. Guess what? And look back at here. It's basically the same, alright? All I did with the face was just paint her lips red, because I think it just looks a lot better on her. And the Age of Ultron, I love the inclusion of this hairpiece. I was actually thinking of using this hairpiece for my Age of Ultron Black Widow, but then I realized when I was looking through different types of hair and stuff for my other figures, I saw this one hairpiece, which the Grandma Minifigures series hairpiece, and I thought that looks more like Age of Ultron Black Widow because it's more curly rather than straight, as like what you see here. So I went with that. So I went with this hair. I probably might get another hair of this because I'm making Jean Grey. But there's no US store so far that has this type of hairpiece. So I'm kind of waiting for that. So yeah, because it's basically Jean Grey I need to paint, and my original X-Men team is done. And the torso, it's what I took from Legos was their torso, but what I did a lot of paint on it. And the only thing, the detail that's not painted is the curve line, the boob line, and the zipper. That's basically it. Everything else was I just completely painted it with my own design here, including the Black Widow symbol here, because the original one did not have that, which was really stupid. And I painted shield logos on both of her sides. It's kind of, you can't really, it doesn't really look like a shield logo because it's just so small. So she has the Black Widow bites here, but I did not make them glow because her suit does not really glow blue as much as the one in Age of Ultron. The back is not, it wasn't painted except for the gray line that I painted here, and the back's painted, the belt's painted. You can see the black lines all the way around, and I think I went over 2 minutes. And so yeah, everything is, the legs are completely painted by. Now the next minifigure we have is Hawkeye, and yeah, he was a pretty awesome figure to make, I was saying. The one thing I kept was the Lego Group's face and the torso. And the reason why I kept the face because I don't want to paint another face for Hawkeye, and plus when I look at the Hot Toys variation, I think he actually looks a lot better with glasses on for this version. The Age of Ultron version does not have the glasses on, and plus I just want to separate those two Hawkeyes. If I paint the same face again, it's just going to be completely boring. So I went with this face. The one thing I changed was painting the glasses dark purple, because since it is purple, not dark red. And if you guys remember, I said I was going to use a standard hairpiece, brown hairpiece. Yeah, I changed that when I ordered more of this, because I'm gonna use it for Firestorm and stuff like that in the future. And I painted it dark brown, and I think it looks a lot better for Hawkeye. The sleepy hair Hawkeye does work a lot for him. And what I did for the quiver, this was actually Lego's original quiver, but except if you know, Hawkeye is kind of a weird archer. Most people have their bows on their left hand and hold arrows with the right. He's the opposite. So that's why, and then the quiver usually tends to lean towards the right for most people, but his leans towards the left. There are no quivers that has this type. There are no Lego never made the quiver where it leans to the left. So what I did, I cut that. I used the neck brace, and I basically sanded that part, and then I glued this, and I painted it. And this is a brick forged bow, and what I did here, there's a lot of stuff to talk about. You see this little scope, that's from the Lego little, you know, the ones in cars they have that little antenna thing that moves. Yeah, that's what I used. And for the scope here, and the arm is painted, and he has this little thing. I don't know what that thing is, but it's just necessary to have it. And his legs are all painted, except the details on the belts here. Those were actually Legos. So yeah, and the legs does continue both sides. You see the detail, and that's basically it for Hawkeye. And yeah, he does come with a brick forged arrow. That's basically it for him. Nick Fury, nothing has changed much for him either. The only thing I did was just like I just redid the torso. Actually, I actually did redo a lot of things. Especially I gave him a Cape Manus trench coat rather than just using Lego's normal capes, just modify that into a trench coat. If you guys remember my last showcase video, and then the torso is all painted. It's in a really simple design with black on top, normal black acrylic with zipper coming down. The belt was a pain to paint, that belt buckle, but it looks really awesome now. And the boots are all also painted, and you can see here he has a little belt buckle here, but not here, and he has the boots painted on, and he has the Tesseract thing. There's nothing inside this box. I don't want to give him a gun because I already gave a lot of other minifigures guns, and I think a walkie-talkie can work well for him. And this was actually, and the one thing I did not paint was the face, because this is actually Lego Group's head, not from the Helicarrier set. It was from that Spider-Man set for the Ultimate Spider-Man, because obviously that Nick Fury is basically based off of Samuel L. Jackson. That's what I did here. Here's a little smudge, and I just painted black line around to make sure that it's connected. So that's all I did, really. Agent Coulson is one of my favorite S.H.I.E.L.D. characters, and it sucks that he died, but then when he came back to life to be in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., I was like, oh my god, no, Marvel can't just stop reviving their characters from dead. Who knows, Quicksilver may get his own ABC TV show in the spin-off of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I don't know, something like that, something stupid like that. Anyway, so yeah, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., it's an okay show, that's all I can say. So he's basically, what I didn't repaint was his torso, because I think his torso looks exactly fine, especially for the back. His iPhone is nothing has changed, even though there are some little sloppy paint work in here. I just think it doesn't really matter anyway. The one thing I did change though was his face and the hairstyle. The hair I used for my last Avengers Age of Ultron, it was this like simple standard black hair you've seen in really old Lego sets. Yeah, I didn't use that. What I did, I took the one that has a widow's peak, if you remember, you know, the General Zod hairpiece, or the one that Aldrich Killian has, or Bruce Wayne. Yeah, I sanded that top part off. It's basically the same thing what I did with Falcon, because Clark Gregg, it's like he doesn't really have hair. A lot of people use the hairpiece they use for, you know, the one in Lego Marvel Superheroes, the one that that has a lot of hair. Yeah, Coulson, he's almost bald, guys. So, and I don't want to make him bald, so I just had to use this hairpiece because it's more combed back. And it just looks a lot more accurate than what people did. His face is all repainted. I repainted the face, and this head is really old. This is a really old. I never did any change of that because it doesn't really matter. But that's his glasses face. So yeah, and he does come with the earpiece, and that's basically it for Hawkeye. I mean Coulson. And and he also includes the Destroyer, which had no change at all. If you guys Agent Coulson was not in my original Avengers Age of Ultron showcase video. He was in my season 2 Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. premiere showcase video, and so you can make him hold the Destroyer, which I can't seem to do. There, yeah, you can hold the Destroyer just fine, and yeah, it's a really big weapon. So that's basically it for Agent Coulson. The next minifigure we have is Loki, and his scepter won't fit in the frame. Yeah, the one thing I took from the Lego group was basically their face, and and their helmet too. The helmet is painted gold, what I did, because it looks more bland. It looks more shinier this way. I did not use their torso at all, unlike in my last Age of Avengers version 1 showcase video, because I feel sorry for the Lego designer's mental status, because his outfit is black, and how the hell do they think dark gray can work? That is just completely absurd, and that is just not acceptable at all. Now, there are some people who complain on the look on the face, that it looks like he looks cute or something. Well, isn't Loki supposed to look cute anyway? Because he gets a lot more girls. He gets a lot of more fangirls than he gets a lot more fangirls than what Thor and Captain America has. And because a lot of girls think he's hot, and I'm not gonna lie, Tom Hiddleston is a good-looking guy, and I like Chris Evans too, and Chris Hemsworth. They both have good abs, but Tom Hiddleston, he's just adorable as Loki. So isn't that kind of the whole point anyway? So and also someone said he looks like he's about to spit something. I don't know. I don't completely get that, because first of all, if you're about to spit something, you kind of open your mouth a little bit. If you want a better example, look at Ezra's Ezra, the one that kind of looks like Aladdin in Star Wars Rebels. Yeah, look at that Lego minifigure of him, and look at that other facial expression he has when he looks like he's kind of opening his mouth. That, if you make a slight change of it, then it kind of looks like he's about to spit something. When you're about to spit something, you don't smile like this. You open your mouth like you're about to, like, so you can like actually spit. So that's kind of weird. But okay, but opinions, I guess. So yeah, and the decision I had to use was using the Cape Madness trench coat, but modified. Now by modified, I mean like I'll take off his cape here. I'm gonna spend like 4 minutes talking about this guy because this is basically a completely new custom minifigure on me. So if you take off his cape, look at his trench coat. It's basically, I did a lot of cuts and stuff, and as you can see, it's all over, and inside there's like a lot of green, and there's a lot, and it still continues all sides. Yeah, it's basically modified, and this little thing, this where the green and areas, that's actually 3-dimensional. I just like super glued that onto it. I basically folded it in the trench coat, and I just super glued it on together so it looks exactly like that. And his arms are redesigned since his suit was supposed to be black. Oh yeah, and then one thing I had to do, he also had cloth inside the trench coat. So what I did, I removed his legs. The leftover piece of the trench coat I glued it onto this, and then I basically painted on top of it so it looks like he's wearing 2 layers of clothing. And that's what I really like about this minifigure. It has to be my best minifigure overall, because next to Invisible Woman, of course, because of all that layering he has, and to top it off, he has a cape, and with some painted details on top of it. So yeah, and that really tops this minifigure off, and it has to be the best one in this showcase video. He's completely new and designed by me, and he just looks awesome. And he does come with a scepter. Nothing new about this, really. I didn't really do much about it. So he still looks really cool when he's holding it, and he's my favorite villain in the MCU. And the second may have to be Ultron, because he's pretty badass, and the third will be Alexander Pierce. Those are my top 3 villains. And he has the Tesseract here. I was gonna make this like for the Red Skull, like I said in that video, but it's just why do that again when I already have it here. So yeah, that's basically it for Loki. I basically spent 4 minutes on this. Starting off with the Shatoris, we have the Commander, and basically I didn't really do much about this guy. The only thing I did for the Shatoris was sculpting work. The paint work is all the same, and it all looks lazy designed, because that's how the Shatori looks like. They have a lot of detailing designs, but none of them really just stand out that much, except for the front parts, the arms. It doesn't really matter to me. And besides, why I just had to make them just so they can be with the Avengers. So I really didn't want to make these guys again. So, but here you go. So yeah, that's the Shatori Commander. Here's one last look at it. I'm done talking about this. The Shatori, yeah, I don't really care about them, the foot soldiers. So yeah, it's basically the same thing. It's just none of the paintwork has changed. So all this is my old painting. That's why it looks kind of messy. The only thing I did was just give them sculpted horns. That's it. That's basically it about this guy. Do I really need to explain more? So that's all I have for today. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you do, leave a like and leave a comment down below. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Flickr. And yep, and you will see a lot of cool stuff that I have in store for you. And that's gonna be it. This is one of the big showcase I've done since the first Avengers showcase video. And it was really hard to fit all these guys in one frame. Yeah, I am not excited for Age of Ultron showcase when I have to try to figure out how to do that, including the Hulkbuster, because that thing's it won't even make it there. So that's all I have for today, and I'll see you guys later.